Hi, I'm Chris Strawn, one of the librarians here in Northeastern Illinois University. Specifically, I'm the librarian that serves the Linguistics department. I do have a PhD in linguistics in addition to a library science degree, so I'm always more than happy to assist you whenever you need to do research. The best place to start your research is on the NEIU Library's homepage. I'll include a link to this homepage, as well as links to the other resources that we discuss in this video, in the description of this video. Your eye is probably drawn to this big search box, and that's a great place to start if you're searching for books specifically. You can also search for articles here, but it's not the best place to start. Let's say we're interested in a grammar of the Somali language. We just type in Somali grammar, then click the search button or enter, and we'll be taken to a list of results. One thing to keep in mind is that NEIU Libraries is part of a large system called iShare. This system allows us to borrow books from many other academic libraries, as well as special libraries in the state of Illinois. And this search starts there. NEIU Libraries has about 500,000 books, journals, and other things here in the library. And while it does seem like a lot, your research may require you to search for things that belong to other libraries. If you only want materials that we have here at our library, you can change the search scope to NEIU Libraries, and then click Search again. Looks like we've got some great hits, and this first one, Somali Grammar by Christopher Ryan Green, looks like a great one. When we click through, we see an image of the book, information about the authors, and as we scroll down, we see information about the publisher, the creation date, content, so on and so forth. One really nice feature that we have is this citation button. All you have to do is click here, choose your preferred citation style. I'm personally a fan of Chicago author date. Copy and paste it, and you have a full citation. Below that, we have information about where to find this book. This tells us that this book is in the main library. Keep in mind that we do have libraries at our CCICS and El Centro campuses. It tells us that it's on the bookshelves as opposed to on course reserve or in some special collection. And it gives us a call number. This call number begins with PJ. All books on linguistics, as well as grammars of languages, have call numbers that begin with the letter P, and those are on the 4th floor of the library. It also tells us that it's in place and loanable, which means that it's not checked out to someone else. If you need information on how to borrow books from other libraries or how to find books on the shelves, there are plenty of ways to find those, and I'll include some links in the description of this video. I'm going to close out this search result and go back. There are a few other features on the library main page that you should find useful. One is this button that says Need Help, Chat with a Human Now. If we click here, this takes us to the library's chat help. This is always staffed by a human being, not a robot. Sometimes it's even me. So if you have a quick question about how to use the library or need help finding a book or a journal article, there should be someone there who can assist you. Below that, we have all sorts of information about how to use the libraries here on the right-hand side of the screen. Towards the bottom of the page, we also have information about the library hours, library services, how to book rooms, and other information. Underneath library resources are 3 very important links. If you happen to know the name of an article database, which we'll discuss in a bit, you can click straight here on databases and articles, go through the A to Z list of over 300 databases, and you can find exactly what you're looking for. One great feature is the Meet with the Librarian function. If we click here, we're taken to a list of all of the university librarians, as well as the subjects that they specialize in. I'm here, and it tells you that I'm the librarian for linguistics. To set an appointment with me, simply click on this link, and you're taken to my booking page. You could schedule a research consultation in person or virtually. And when you click through, you're taken to my calendar. You're allowed to schedule for half-hour blocks, And this is always synced up with my calendar, so there's never any worry that I won't be available. The last of these 3 links under library resources takes you to the research guides. We have 64 guides that cover just about every topic taught here at Northeastern Illinois University. While we're going to focus on the linguistics guide, keep in mind that linguistics research can be interdisciplinary, so you may find it useful to go to the philosophy guide, to the TESOL guide, to the education guide, or to the World Languages and Culture guide, among others. Let's scroll down and go here to the Linguistics Research Guide. All of our research guides have similar features. There's usually information on finding articles, finding books, and then usually some information about external resources like websites. The video that I'm currently recording and talking to you will be placed here underneath this top tab about research and linguistics. There's also information on finding library resources and how to use the libraries, as well as some useful links, including links to the Linguistic Society of America, style sheets, and how to submit to Language, the flagship journal of the Linguistic Society of America. You also have my contact information here, including my email address, phone number, and if you click on this ribbon, that'll take you back to the booking page that I just showed you. We'll start on articles, and when we click here, we're taken to a list of databases that you should find useful when you're doing linguistics research. The very top link goes to a database called Linguistics and Language Behavior Abstracts. And this has hundreds of thousands of articles about linguistics. The links below are also useful, although not as linguistics focused as this first one. If, for example, you're interested in doing research on education as it relates to language, you might click on ERIC, which is a great source for searching education. And then finally, there's a link to Google Scholar, which I'll show you how to use towards the end of this video. Let's click here and go to the database LLBA, Linguistics and Language Behavior Abstracts. One thing you'll notice is that this has a lock next to it, and that tells us that this is a resource that the NEIU Libraries pays for, so people who are not affiliated with the university don't have access to this. All databases have fairly similar features, so you may find that some platforms are slightly different, but they all basically work the same. You start off with a very basic search, and this works just like the search that we used to find books. In fact, let's try entering the same terms. Somali grammar. Then click search. And you see that we have 541 results. This is quite a lot, so what we may want to do is filter to get rid of things that we don't want. We can filter here on the left-hand side in this particular database. It may belong somewhere else in a different platform. This tells us that we have publication dates ranging from 1972 to 2026. If we wanted a narrower range of dates, we could pull this bar down here and limit to dates from 2010 to 2026. When we click Update, the page refreshes and we see that we've gone from 541 hits to only 430. This also tells us that we've applied a filter so that if we need to get rid of it, we can exit out. If, for example, you only wanted scholarly journals and not dissertations and theses, we could click here and get rid of these 184 dissertations and theses. Let's do that too. And as we scroll, we see a whole lot of other filters. Let's suppose we have a lot of hits that are not in English. We could filter so that we only have materials that are in English and excluding languages that we may not speak. Another way to filter is by subject. You can see that a lot of these subjects are pretty broad, so linguistics is far too broad. But if we click more, we could see if there are topics that we want to either include or exclude. Let's suppose we're interested in this very first article, thematic roles in Somali. We can click here, and this takes us to the record for this article. Where exactly you land when you click through may vary. Sometimes you'll be taken directly to the PDF, which you can download, or you may be taken to this abstract and details page. Reading the abstract first is a great way to make sure that the article you're looking at is actually interesting, because the abstract is a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of that article. We're also given some keywords, information about the authors, the title of the publication, page number, publication date, so on and so forth. And if we're interested, we could run another search using the terms that this database specifically uses to describe this article. Somali language might be a great one. Up here, we have the option to download the PDF, yet another handy citation tool, again with options to select your favorite type of citation style, as well as options to copy the URL if you needed to email it to yourself, to print the page, and other things. Let's return to the main page of this database. And let's take a brief look at the advanced search. Here we have the option to apply a lot of the filters before we even start searching. So, for example, we could say we only want materials from the last 3 years. We only want scholarly journal articles. And we only want materials in English. We also have the option to search through specific parts of the record. So if you happen to know the title or the author, you could select that. Let's say we only want things with the word Somali in the title. And let's say we want to find the word grammar in the abstract. We can search. And because we've been so specific about what we wanted, we got 0 results. Let's get rid of the word grammar and click search again. Here we have a bit more luck. We've got 3 articles, which may or may not be relevant to what we actually are researching. Please keep in mind that research is a skill, and that's why we have librarians. We're always more than happy to assist you, whether it's in person, online, in your class, or via email. Back here in the Articles tab of the Linguistics Research Guide, you can scroll down and go to Google Scholar. If you log in with your NEIU NetID and password, which is Google linked, you automatically have an account on Google Scholar, which makes it possible to save things to your library, and then you can easily access the articles that you've searched for. Right here, in this hamburger menu, if you go to Settings, you can click on Library Links and link Google Scholar to NEIU libraries. I've already done it, but if you type in NEIU and then click Search, you should be taken to a link that allows you to make this part of your search. I'll show you what that looks like. Let's type in Somali grammar again, just to see what we get. We see that we have 19,200 search results, and there's no great way to filter these. The only filter that Google Scholar has is by date. So you may find a lot of hits that are completely irrelevant, or are books when you're looking for articles, or vice versa. If you see a book, this will typically take you to books.google.com. which does not link up with our library. Articles, however, tend to be. If we scroll down, we see an example of an article that is linked to the library catalog on the morphophonology of domains and Somali verbs and nouns. We could go to academia.edu to download this article, but that does require the creation of an account, which you may not want to do. Instead, if you click on Find It at NEIU, we're taken back to the library catalog. And here, we have a link that allows us to access this article immediately. This happens to be through the database communication source. Again, not all article databases have all articles on a given topic, but they do try their hardest. So Google Scholar is sometimes an easier way to find a broad range of items. In other cases, these articles are linked to through the author's website. For example, this uniroma3.it suggests to me that this is some sort of Italian academic website. So while our article databases are great for filtering and narrowing down your search, if you want to do a pretty broad search, you can use Google Search. Let's return to the Linguistics Research Guide on the library. We have a few other tabs that we should examine. Here, we have information on finding books. And as I mentioned before, books on linguistics are arranged by Library of Congress call numbers and are located on the 4th floor. And most of them have call numbers beginning with P. And there's a link to the Library of Congress's guide to P classifications. We also have some information on open access books. These are books that the publisher and author have made completely free and open online, which is great because it means that neither you nor the library has to pay to access these books. We also have links to recommended websites. Some of these are quite general, and some are more specific. So if you're interested in language universals and typology, we have a list here. We have a link to a variety of linguistic corpora, as well as information on how to find linguistic data generally. If you or your professors happen to use a link that we don't have here on this website, please let me know, and I can consider adding it. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you ever need assistance using the library. Again, I have a degree in linguistics, and I'm always more than happy to speak with students about doing research. From this page, you have my contact information and an easy way to get in touch with me by setting an appointment. I look forward to working with you and hope you enjoy your careers here as linguists at Northeastern Illinois University.